Hey guys, I hope everyone is having a good day today. I just wanted to come on here and quickly talk about um, sometimes God is the one that's testing us. Sometimes God is the one that's testing us. It's not always the enemy testing us. Sometimes God will allow the enemy to test us, to be honest. Um, I was just studying and God was highlighting to me like sometimes it's God testing us. He's testing our heart. He's testing us where we are in our walk with Him. Even though God knows everything, but will you still love Him when you lose it all? Will you still love Him if you don't have what you're feeling like you need? Will you still see Him as your Redeemer? See Him as somebody who is loving, caring, even though you have a lot of afflictions on you, even though you feel like, God, okay, when is my restoration coming? When am I going to feel a relief? And that can be, financially, that can be relationship wise, that can be friendship wise, family wise. A lot of times you will lose a lot of things in the process, but that could be God testing your heart. That could be God trying to make sure, you're in the right place. And sometimes we get those trials and God's like, look, this is for you not to make the same mistake. Or this is, if we didn't go through the trials and we didn't go through the test, that means down the line, how will we be able to help the next person? And then also, how will we know when we can spot and discern that, okay, obviously I've made that mistake before, I know not to do it again. So sometimes the trials are from God. The trials come from Him testing us, helping us grow our faith, helping us get understanding, helping us to learn, how to move and how to walk with God, and learning His character. Because in the process of our relationship with Him, we are learning His character as well, even though He knows us. He knows what we're going to do from the very start. But He will test us. I remember, when I was being obedient about my divorce and everything like that, I felt like that was a test. That was a test of, am I just going to run out here and go back to what I was doing before? Or am I going to really take the time to sit and go through those emotions and, not leave God? Not try to leave, the place that I was assigned to, the place that I'm supposed to be at, just because of my feelings and just because I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling down. But I've lost quite a bit of things since then. I've lost cars. I've lost, certain things have come up where it has hit me financially, where I just wasn't able to do certain things that I wanted to do. It was a lot of stuff, when you think you're getting back on the track, on the right track, and then something else comes up. Sometimes God will be testing us. Sometimes He will let the enemy do things. He will let the enemy, test our hearts. God's always testing our hearts. That's why I always pray, like, God, test my heart. Let me know when I'm not in the right heart space, because I want to make sure I'm right on my heart with God. I can't worry about the outside world as far as like, what they're doing, how they're feeling. I want to make sure my heart is good. I want to make sure I'm in the right heart posture so that I don't have to worry about, she ain't right, her heart ain't in the right spot, back to the drawing board. So He did give me Lamentations chapter 3. I'm going to read this for you. It's about Jeremiah. He was saying like how he went through a lot of afflictions, and some of the afflictions that we go through It's for a purpose. So it says, this is Lamentations 3, starting at verse 2. He have led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin have he made old. He have broken my bones. He have builded against me and compassed me with gall and travail. So this was basically stating that he was going through so much affliction. He felt like God was against him. He felt like he was going through so much. And he felt in a dark place. He felt like, okay, everything's coming up. Why am I going through all of this? He was questioning, like, okay, I'm pretty much broken bones. I'm pretty much out of it. So that's kind of where, that's where he was at. And he felt like his prayers weren't being heard, even though he was crying out to God and he was crying for, God to hear him. He just did not feel like it was happening. But then in that same chapter 3, in verse 19, starting at 19, he says, remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. So even though he had all of those afflictions and he was going through all of that turmoil, feeling in a dark place, he knew that it was for a purpose. And when we go through some things, having those afflictions will help you remember, I have to be humbled in certain areas. It will make you remember, I have to remember what I did wrong so I don't make that same mistake. It humbled him, and it showed him that God had mercy on him through those afflictions, because God will not put more on you than you can bear. So it just reminded me, like, okay, we go through so much. God can test us in the midst of things. It may feel like we're being picked on. It may feel like we're being tortured. It may feel like that, but God knows what he's doing. He knows what he's trying to teach us. He knows what we will get out of it and what the lesson will be out of it. So that just helped me realize, like, and he said his mercies are forever. We know that it's God's mercy we got through those trials. We know that it's God's mercy that we even put one foot forward and was able to come out of what we were coming out of. So I just wanted to let you guys know, sometimes it's God testing us, but it's for a reason. And that reason always eventually will be revealed through what God has promised and what God is doing in your life.